What Facebook ad columns should you use in 2024? That's what we're gonna be diving into today. The exact Facebook ad columns I use on a daily basis with the, somewhere close to $2 million a month that we spend on paid advertising. So let's dive into it. So just looking at the ad manager really quick, I have one of our, I would say play accounts that we leverage for making YouTube videos and stuff. So we have some unique columns right here. So obviously, you have your basic stuff: campaign, delivery, budget, amount spent, purchase, cost per purchase, because realistically we only care about CPA, which can still be tied back to ROAS. So yeah, so we have our CPA, reach, frequency, CPM, unique outbound CTR, cost per unique outbound CTR, or click in that sense right there, unique outbound clicks, scroll stop, and hold rate. So what do all these mean? How do I leverage these? Let's dive into that right now. So first things first, obviously you have like your amount spent, your purchase, and your cost per purchase. This is fairly basic. I don't think I really need to explain anything like that. But for example, like cost per purchase right there, a lot of people still look at ROAS, which not technically wrong for looking at ROAS if you're leveraging a store that has like, just one product on there. But when you start having multiple different products and you have a variety of other things, you need to start looking at cost per purchase. And then you need to leverage cost per acquisition and CPA, so new customer cost per acquisition. I have more videos like this on my channel. If you just literally go on my YouTube channel and search up how to calculate your target CPA, and I show you guys all of this. But the reason why I highlight that right there is because you want to be looking at those key things to understand if you're getting a new customer coming in or a returning customer coming in. Now, reach, to be fair here, this is kind of one of those that I honestly don't pay attention to. I probably could delete this if I wanted, I can't tell you one time I used this. I think for me, it's because I never make any references. I never be like, oh, well, this ad only reached 1,000 people, for example. I've never done that, but it is what it is. Like I said, I think it's more for me just to understand, like, is this ad serving and getting impressions or reaching people and stuff like that. Now, frequency, this is a really important one right here. So like if we go back into this campaign, I literally just made a video on this not too long ago. I like to look at frequency. So like let's look over at I think this 11th or 17th in December right here. We had this advertorial test going on right here. And like this advertorial test was, doing a relatively good CPA, but it wasn't getting a lot of spend. And I'm like, hey, why isn't it getting a lot of spend? Then I realized the frequency. Look how high that frequency is, 2.09 over a 7-day period. What does that mean? That means we were hitting everyone in that 7-day period twice with the same ad. So that's something important to keep in mind right there. So ideally, we want like our highest spending ads to have a lower frequency, and that allows us to spend significantly more. Now, I never, ever make a decision on frequency in terms to turn on ad off. I have this one particular account where it's getting like a phenomenal cost per acquisition. The business metrics are healthy, the P&L is healthy and everything like that. And the frequency is like a 3 to 4, really high. I'm not going to cut ads off because of a high frequency. Now, if we're stuck scaling and we can't really break a certain barrier, I'm going to use frequency to help tell me what's going on. And that's what I use all these metrics for, like frequency, CPM, unique outbound click-through rate. I use all of these metrics to help me tell me why an ad works or why an ad does not work. So if we're stuck scaling and the last 7-day frequency is above a 2x, then I know it's because, hey, our highest spending ad is hitting the same people twice. This particular account right here, it's hitting people 1.38 times, basically 1.4 times. So 60% of the people that seen this ad are seeing it for the first time, and almost 40% of people are seeing it for a second time. So that's how I look at frequency. If we're stuck scaling and we can't spend more than we're currently spending now, then I'm gonna look at that frequency ratio on our top spending ad. And that's what's going to really tell me that effect right there. Now, next thing is CPM. CPM, if it's like a really high CPM, all that's going to do is kind of tell me that if we're hitting like a really small audience, if it's a really low CPM, we're going to hit our bigger audience. A lot of people make this mistake of, hey, Nick, what CPM you're seeing in the health niche? Or hey, Nick, what CPM are you seeing in the apparel niche? And I'm just like, it does not matter at all, because literally every ad like we're running here has different CPMs. If I look at this, let me actually go back to amount spent over the last 7 days. Like we have different CPMs on all this. One was $8.21, $8.91, $10.34, $11, $8.95. It all comes down to this right here, which this is your account average, right? So if your account average, now I would say even more specifically your campaign average, because if you have like account average, like a traffic campaign or an add to cart campaign is going to be substantially lower CPM than, say, for example, a purchase campaign. Purchase campaigns always have higher CPMs, but they have a significantly higher, like persona that's more likely to purchase. So CPM, you need to do the average for your campaign. Its average is 888 for this campaign. So relatively, this is a good CPM of 821. This is up average 891. This is higher compared to the account average. So if it's higher or lower, it's going to be compared to your account average. So just keep that in mind. Do I ever make decisions based off CPM? No. But do I use it to help tell the story? Yes. For example, if we have a really high CPM, that shows me that we're kind of targeting a more targeted audience. If we have a really low CPM compared to my account average, we're targeting a lesser targeted audience. Does that mean it's a worse audience? No, not at all. It just means there's a larger audience and a smaller audience. Higher CPM, a smaller audience. The lower the CPM, the higher. I have accounts with $100 CPMs. There's substantially less people in those than this particular account. I have a account with $100 CPM that are spending $10,000 a day profitably on Facebook ads. And this account's going nowhere close to that. So again, it's not really an issue. It just kind of helps me tell the full story of what's going on here. Next thing is to have a unique outbound click-through rate. Make sure it's unique outbound. So a lot of people will do like cost per click or unique or like outbound. Or like, I don't know, it's just click-through rate. That's all it is. It's literally just click-through rate. The reason why I say it's unique outbound is because outbound means it's taking people off of Facebook. Unique means it's counting per person. So for example, if 5 people click on this ad and it's just a regular click, then it'll count all 5. Or if one person clicks 5 times, it'll count all 5. But if 5 unique people click on it, it's only going to count 1 per person. So that's the difference between unique and just all. And the second thing is we're doing outbound. So it's taking someone off. So it's unique click per outbound. And then it's click through rate. So what's the percentage of people that are seeing this ad and actually clicking on it? Is this 0.72, 0.9? What's a good outbound click through rate? Again, compared to your account average and more specifically your campaign average. If I run an engagement campaign, I can get an insanely high unique outbound click through rate. But cost per purchase is going to be terrible. This is a 0.9 cost, outbound click. We have some accounts with a 2 to 3%. All this helps tell me is, again, the story of what's going on. So, for example, this advertorial test got a pretty low cost per click or outbound click-through rate percentage compared to this one right here, which has a higher compared to this one. This one got more spin. Basically means that a lot more people are clicking on this ad. And because a lot more people are clicking on it, Facebook spent more on it because it was rewarding that particular ad. Next thing is cost per click. I never look at this. I don't even know why I have this up. I think it's more for one of those things that's like, I used to look at it and now it's just like one of those things where like it's still cool to look at, but other than that, it does nothing for me. I literally cannot tie this back to anything. I've seen accounts with really high $3 and $4 cost per clicks that are insanely profitable, 5-6x ROAS. I've seen accounts with 50-cent cost per clicks with a terrible performance. So again, you can't make anything on this. This just kind of tells me like the total number of people that's actually clicked on this ad right here. Just to kind of get an estimate just off my head about how many people clicked on this particular ad. Do I make any decisions off of this? No. Not at all. Scroll stop and hold rate. So these are things that you're actually gonna have to go set up yourself. Again, these are other metrics that just help me tell the story of what's going on in this account. And maybe even more specifically, what for example, what is the reason why a creative worked or not? So here's a variety of creatives right here. They're all fairly similar. I think we just tested different hooks on each one. So this is cool. This is cool that we have this because now I can see the different scroll stops, because again, you don't want to compare the scroll stop of like too many different things, but we can see right here, okay, this is sort by spin. So this ad's $653. This one's $228. This one, they're both turned off because they just weren't performing the level we needed them. They both had about an average of the same 19%, 20%. This one has 17% scroll stop. This one had 23%. So they all have different scroll stops. And again, it helps me tell the story. So like, for example, if we have a really good ad that's performing well, why? Well, scroll stop was better than our account average. So our account average average for this particular ad set, 19%. So, these are all about average. I wouldn't say they're, any better. Maybe like this 23% one right here, but for the most part, they're about average. And I'll show you in a second of how that's set up. But yeah, So this is the percentage of people that stop in the scroll to take a look. And again, I'm gonna show you in a second how this one and this one's set up. Same thing for hold rate. So like this is a 2%, 2%. This one's a 4% right here. The problem with scroll stop and hold rate is that what if we have a really high scroll stop? Like for example, if I put something super clickbaity, like I put a person that has like no clothes on, obviously it would get flagged immediately on Facebook, but there'd be a lot of people that'd be stopping to see this particular person with no clothes on. We'd have a high scroll stop. But then I show something that's completely irrelevant, like person no clothes on, and that's why you need Smoothie King smoothies. And it's like, what? Like you're not attracting the right audience. So again, the scroll picks up the audience, and the hold rate is the rest of the video. And if we attract the wrong people to watch the rest of the video, we're gonna have a low hold rate. A lot of people are gonna see this and be like, oh, we need to edit the video differently. The problem with that is actually, no, you don't need to edit the video differently. Your scroll stop is doing terrible at attracting the right audience that wants to see the rest of the video. So, and vice versa, right? We could attract the right people with the right scroll stop, but then like the hold rate is terrible because we just do a bad job at swinging people over to the ad. I've seen people like call out a particular problem in the marketplace and then just jump to the solution so fast, you just couldn't make a logical jump. And that's the problem right there. But I've seen that happen a lot before between the scroll stop and the hold rate right there. And yeah, and that's for videos. I know we have some photos running this account. Like we just launched these ads yesterday. For like photos, we just don't look at anything. We just look at like CTR and, frequency. And that's pretty much it, cost per purchase. There's a couple things here like scroll stop. You can see like, here's the difference. All of these ads were just launched a couple of days ago. You can see right here, like this one's getting a 14%, where this one's getting like a 28% scroll stop. This one's also getting like a 1.78% click-through rate and a 60-cent cost per click. So like that's relatively doing well. Now, again, this one's also performing the best. So is it cost per purchase then this, or is it this then cost per purchase? It's always cost per purchase first. So, hey, this is doing good. Why? Why is this doing good? Because it has a really good CTR relative to everything else we're testing. Because it has a good cost per click relative to everything else we're testing. This image ad right here is not doing hot, but let's go take a look. Relative to everything else we're testing, this is not doing that good. In fact, actually, this is doing pretty average to everything else. But here's just a great example of when we launched 6 different ads, 1 took off. We did 6 very different creatives. 1 took off and working well. So we're going to roll with that. So, and then as promised, I'm going to show you guys how to set up those columns, those specialty columns. So, here's your thing. All you got to do is create custom metric right here. And then honestly, I forgot how to set these up in terms of like, let's see. Let me go back to only me really quick. Let's see. Hold rate. Yeah. So scroll stop and hold rate. Let me just show you guys really quick. So it's 3-second video plays divided by impressions. Make sure you do format percentage. And then all you're going to do is save that and like add a name. And then hold rate right here. Edit. This is through plays divided by impressions. So the amount of people that watch more than 10 seconds or more, and divide that by impressions right there. So, but yeah, so that's the columns we leverage. That's what, we use to make decisions and kind of why we use some of these columns and like, data. We use the exact same columns for all of our accounts. The only thing that might change is like cost per purchase might change to cost per lead, or like cost per webinar invite or cost per app install. But we use the same metrics across the board for every account we use. We only do Facebook ads, but I'm sure you can copy these over as well to TikTok ads because they tell you a lot of valuable information. But yeah, if you're enjoyed this video, make sure to like button, hit that subscribe button for new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And yeah, guys, talk to you guys later. Peace out.